Hi, everyone. Welcome to the TimingResearch.com Analyze Your Trade, episode number 134 for August 4th, 2020. My name is David Kosmeter. I'm the creator of TimingResearch.com, and today we will be discussing your trade ideas. So we are recording this at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and you should be seeing Anka Metcalf's screen right now. So you'll be able to see her charts and see how she looks at the markets today. So I have like I said, Anka Metcalf here as the guest, and the option professor is back to moderate. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to him.
Okay, thanks a lot, David, and welcome everybody. Another exciting day, a big run up at the end of the day, and it's very interesting. It looks like the Federal Reserve doesn't want anybody in cash because bonds went up today, stocks went up today, and gold and silver went up today. So if you don't have your money in the bank, you're doing very good today. Anka Metcalf is with us today, and she's going to go over a lot of exciting stocks, some of which you have on your list here that people submitted, and then she, of course, has her own ideas. But before we get started, Anka, a quick introduction and what's going on at your company.
All right. Thank you so much, Jim. Welcome, everyone, to today's show. My name is Anka Metcalf. I'm the CEO and founder of TradeOutLoud.com, which is a trading education firm that is specialized in educating individuals how to day trade and swing trade the futures and the equities market. I've been doing this for 17 years. I day trade futures 2 hours a day at the New York trading session open, and I swing trade stocks for the rest of the day. I come in this industry with over 10 years in investment banking, and I'm also the designer of an institutional proprietary trading system that is based on price support resistance, specific trigger times throughout the trading session, especially for day trading, specific price zones where I buy and sell, and where I have my signals, chart synchronicity and divergency, a strict set of trading rules, and a 10-point scoring system that enables myself and my traders to identify trades with ease. And Jim, you have the mic.
Okay, sounds great. And again, you go over a lot of your tactics on how you follow momentum, and then, of course, how you try to keep the risk on a leash. NVIDIA is a classic example today because it had a low of 436. And it closed at 447. So you had $11 to work with just today alone. So that gives you an idea that the tactics that you're using, particularly in the mega cap and in the tech and the semis, really is the way to go, because people who think it's too high just wake up the next day and find out it's higher. And then, of course, you want to have some kind of mechanism in case things turn, and you've got that as well. So why don't you explain a little bit on how you would be handling NVIDIA here?
All right, so NVIDIA definitely is a mega runner. It is one of the strongest stocks for this year, and especially post-pandemic, if I should say post-pandemic, so after the March collapse into the market. And it is running like wildfire. It is moving higher. It has been consolidating for, I would say, for the whole month of July, and finally it has been snapping higher in the last two trading sessions. Yesterday, in fact, it popped above this high right here into the 430, 431 area, and it's heading higher into extensions. And just when you think it does not have room to run higher, or how high it can run because it's trading into a super wide tradable void, it does have another target into the 550 area. So it does. Into the 556, 555 to 556 area. I was wanting to mention the fact that we're almost closing in at 450. And if you think it cannot run higher, we do have projections for almost $500, which is the 261.8 extension right here. So yes, definitely right now, if you're not into the stock as a swing, definitely do not jump in. It is already trading into extensions, already trading into targets. But if you want to hop in on this massive trend, you could do it either intraday trading, so day trading, or swing trading, because in swing trading, you're always going to be offered some really nice pullback opportunities. And as you can see here, the hourly chart is really nice. A trend following the 20 SMA and the 10 EMA. We have all the moving averages all fanned out. So this is a strong sign of a possible continuation higher. We closed into the high, so this is a pretty good indication that the stock may continue higher into tomorrow's trading session. So we closed super, super strong, very strong indication for higher into tomorrow. So any pullback on NVIDIA can potentially be buyable, but if you will have to relate to a smaller time frame, 15-minute, 30-minute, 1 hour, even 4 hour time frame are acceptable, but not for a day. So you may be looking at short-term swings, first time rotation into a high, get out and wait for another trading opportunity as it lines up.
Yeah, NVIDIA is linked to Bitcoin. Bitcoin's gone from 9,000 to 11,200 in the last 2 weeks. So if you were going to get to your projection, you were talking about a potential run up to 500. One of the reasons that could happen is Bitcoin goes up towards 14,000 or something.
Exactly. So I actually do have a position in GBTC, and this is something that is not as risky as a crypto account or trading a cryptocurrency per se, but GBTC is lower price range, $13, much more manageable for any type of account size. And GBTC as well is very, very bullish. As you can see here into the daily chart, is just grinding into the highs. We did have some prior highs right here back into February, but it looks like it really wants to run higher. And even the monthly chart is just waking up from the stall dormant phase, which it was in 2017, and the end of 2017, it just massively woke up. And then right now we have, this is actually the second lower high that we had in March, and we're waking up back again. And this could be a breakout over 1380 that can take the price higher back into the 1750 and even higher.
It could be a catch-up trade for the because it's digital gold, they call it, and we all know gold blew out on the upside today too.
Exactly, and this is a great price point right here for any type of account holder. It's a small price.
Mm-hmm. All right, the next one had a run up because they were supposedly buying TikTok or whatever, and then the bloom came off the rose a little bit today. Out of all the tech stocks, it's one of the least overbought basis its 200-day moving average. But there's a little bit of a stall in Microsoft. Is it? What do you see here?
Microsoft had a pretty considerate gap up in yesterday's trading session, had a phenomenal post-market and pre-market run from Sunday night. We actually had a trade in Microsoft, and right now this is just a pullback within the trend. Let's see how this low is going to handle this 50 SMA at 210. If we are going to get back up over 214, I think we're going to be ready to go. In fact, I would look on the daily right here. So this is a nice bottoming tail candle. As the name implies, it's trying to bottom. That tail has that really nice lift into that nice consolidation into a high, into the body of the candle. And if we're going to see tomorrow 214.78 to 214.80, it's going to go. It's going to start going back up again, possibly retesting the high into the 217.64.
Yeah, this is one of the ones that they didn't want to go home short on because it was at around 211 and it closed at 213 in the last hour.
Exactly, and it has a very strong consolidation onto the 60-minute chart, even though it's a little bit below the 20 SMA, but I really like this bull sandwich that is developing right here, and I think it's just going to start pushing a little bit higher. So this would be the high that I would look for into this 214.80, and this would be the proof enough that the price is ready to commit for higher.
Okay, next one up is gold. Again, blew out a little bit to the upside. This thing made I guess it's probably an all-time high here at 189.32, closed at 189.25. And the word got out that they're going to keep these rates maybe inverted longer than you think. And so inverted yield curves, have been fuel for gold, and today it certainly was.
Exactly, and gold is reaching an extension really close to $200, and I think that is going to be the area where the price may be likely to get sucked into. So you can see like it literally gap up and extended higher, gap up and extended higher right here. So yeah, it does have room. Measured move into 197.24, very close to the $200 level. If you're not in the trade, there are no leg in opportunities in this one. So this is already very, very extended. Let me just take it to the daily chart. So very, very extended. We have actually broken out the beginning of July. So July was the breakout point. It has been dormant for a very long time, since April. And in July, it just broke out. It reached the first target level into the 161.8, 173.80. And right now it's going back up. You can see very well that it's following the 10 exponential, rather the 10 exponential moving average is following the price right here. It's it had a little bubble of air, but it stalled for about 4 to 5 days into these highs. And I think that probably it's getting ready for another pop higher. And again, very strong close, very, very strong close. And this is a true indication that the price may be getting ready to commit higher into extended session and also into tomorrow's trading session. That's for sure.
Yeah, and on your stuff, you had two very good buy signals, one at 165 and one at 173. And for those who would have been following your stuff and went in at those two levels, they wouldn't be worried about getting in now. They'd be worried about how they're going to spend their money.
Exactly, and trailing. Yes,
yeah,
totally.
Yeah. All right, next one is why? That's a new one for me.
Why?
Joy to the world.
I don't really like trading ADRs, but I really don't mind them either. So ADR, today's the perfect example of a pullback buy. I think that the stock may be getting ready to commit for higher. We have a nice flat 200 simple moving average. The price crossed above the moving average in June. It extended higher, just reached that 100 mark, and then pulled back to retest the 200 simple moving average, and very nice weekly rotation here. In fact, I did not see this, so this did not pop. This did not pop on my scanner, but definitely would have made a very good swing over $80 with a stop right below this 200 SMA, with a potential move back into $100. I really like this setup.
Yeah, that red line you've got looks like a good line in the sand. As long as we're above there, you got to play it from the upside.
Exactly. So price above, stay bullish, price below, caution.
Yeah. Now you have software that kind of gets these things to jump out at you as you scan through many stocks. So that would be very helpful for listeners to have as a tool, the way that you can actually mine these ideas.
Okay, so number one, I use trade ideas for my scanner, and I usually like to look for. There are multiple ways where you can find these kind of trades. Certainly, this one did not pop up on my scanner, so I do use trade ideas. If you do not want to invest in a scanner, a great idea is to use FinViz and look for pullbacks into the 200 simple moving average. Have another scanner for pullbacks into the 20, or another scanner for pullbacks into the 50. They are extremely helpful. You could also select the price range of the stock. You can also select whether you want to look at Amex or NASDAQ or whatever it is, and NYSE stocks. Caps, again, you can sort them by caps. So finviz.com is it's a really amazing tool. And the third way you could scan manually, and this is one of my preferred methods, because sometimes some of these scanners, or they generate a plethora of trading ideas that you literally do not have time to go through thousands of stocks.
Right.
And I like to go through every couple of days or 3 days. I like to go manually through some scans. Definitely, I go through the Dow, because it only we only have about 30. We only have 30 stocks into the Dow, and I scan through the S&P 100. And you take one symbol at a time, one chart at a time, and just scan manually through it. It's a great way to go through charts and to see what's leading, what's lagging, and also what's setting up.
But people who don't want to do all that homework, they can go to you and you can actually help them do the homework, right?
Yeah, exactly. And we scan it. Yeah. Today, actually this weekend, we sent out the alerts, and we had 15 trades to start the week off.
You don't get paid. You don't get paid anymore because you did the homework than if you took somebody else's homework, right?
Exactly.
So you get the same amount of profit and loss. All right. So the next guy up here is Pins, which is Pinterest, and this one got some pretty good vibe after they met in Washington. Can I know you're technically oriented, but why would they benefit from what happened in Washington when the tech guys were down there? Was it because of the monopoly talk, maybe, or?
You know what, the thing is, I don't really focus on the narrative, and
no, I know that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that for me, technicals are way more important.
Oh, yeah.
For me, Pins is really elevated. It's really up there, and I would not initiate a trade in it. But if you're looking for, let's say, a very short-term type of swing, I would say somewhere between a day and around 2 to 3 days. It definitely had the same close strong as most of the stocks today. It has a really nice, I would say doji-like bottoming tail style candle, and I would take it down. So whenever I see that there's a stock that is very extended or that I missed an opportunity to get into a trade, I always zoom into the pattern instead of zooming out of the pattern. And you can find a plethora of trading opportunities within. You can find support right now, so you could have this 50 SMA as your gauge, as your support zone. You have, and then you have, this is your first support zone. Then you have a little bit of elevated support into the 33.75, and this could be actually a breakout over these highs over 35, or if it trades a little bit above the 20 SMA, then I would feel much more encouraged to take this stock to the upside. And again, for targets, I would definitely refer into the 37.33, and I would apply some fibs to see if it can still fly higher. But definitely we have reached, and not only that, we have reached resistance. We have resistance into 36.80, I think, and we popped into a new high 37.88 since the stock came out. And the stock came out, when did it come out? I think it was last year, in April. So
yeah, it came out around the 25-30 area, and then I think it came down.
Exactly. Yeah, let's just check it out on the weekly chart. Oh yeah, this is all the information that I have. Here it is. Yeah, the one that you mentioned, the $25, and then it went up. This is the high right here. So yeah, this is the 36.80, and then it popped a little bit higher, and now it came back. To me, this is very extended right here, so I would take it for very short-term trading. Today, for the first time, it gapped down a little bit. So if you're looking at the 15-minute, you know, this is the overnight price action, but it gapped down a little bit. So I think that if it's going to start trading over 35 tomorrow, it may start building up into that gap and trying to do the gap fill. And from that point on, over 36, it can start rallying into the 37. So that could be a nice profit there. It doesn't have a really wide stop, so it may be totally workable.
Yeah, the very thing that jumps out today's action is normally they do 15 million shares a day, and today they did almost 40 million, and the price was actually down on the day. So it could be into a buyout deal, or it could be into something. But 40 million versus 15 means that the word got out on something, right?
100%, totally.
So it's going to be wild there, because 40 million shares, people are going to, you know, either stick with those or they're going to dump them. They're not going to just stand there and sit and look at the stock, probably, right?
Exactly. And we had massive volume right here,
Right.
and that was when was that? On Friday. On Friday we had
Friday, Monday, Tuesday, the volume
Friday,
has
Monday,
been picking
Tuesday.
up.
Yeah, Friday. Yeah, it was the end of the month, and it was a really strong close for pins.
All right, NEE. What's NEE doing?
All right, so let's take a look at NEE. I love this stock. It actually popped on my scanner, and I was looking. The one thing that I looked at and was very appealing to me was this little doji that we have set for last week, and this could actually tell the story of what's to happen into this week. So I think that if we're going to start trading above this doji high into 284.86, we're going to start popping higher, and we do have room for higher. And if not, if we break and violate the 275, I think we're going to come back at least to test this 260 area. We have this prior high that is going to represent support right now, and we also have this 10 EMA right here as a safety net. So the price needs to pop over this high and stay above it. And today we had a very good indication of a very strong close, like incredibly strong close. We had this really nice daily rotation within the range. So the range is holding super, super tight, and the range is derived, basically formed, this range formed that doji on the weekly. And again, if we're going to start trading above this high, above the 285 and stay above the 285, we just printed a 285.05, we're definitely going to start moving higher. And how high can we go? Well, shorter term, let's take a quick look right here. Well, we could start going into 310. So not only that, we're erasing these highs right here. The fact that we're holding and we're basing right here, and we have been basing for a week and about a couple of days right now, is the sign that the price is really ready to chew these prior highs and ready to snap into the 300 and 310.
Now, these guys own Florida Power and Light and Gulf Power. You guys get hit by that storm down there? Did it affect electric or no?
Actually, I don't think it affected anything. I'm in Michigan right now, so
oh, okay. I thought you were
Yeah,
down in Fort Lauderdale.
yeah, but I do have friends and everything was fine. Like the area that we're at in Boca Raton, everything was safe. So we just some rain and some gusty winds. And that's pretty much what we had. I think New York is
Well,
getting it
if you're in
harder.
Michigan, don't go to your vacation home because you can get in trouble for going to your vacation home, right?
I know.
Hey,
I know.
I got a question for you. Somebody else might be interested. I know I'm interested. You see how you have gotten projections there, and those are Fibonacci projections, are they? Can
Yes,
you put up the
Fibonacci
G?
projection.
Yeah, can you put up the GLD and can you put up projections and get an
Yes,
idea of what? Because we're in the ozone there, right? We're in new highs. So I was wondering
yes.
what projections might show if you put them up there.
Okay, so we have, let me just go to a higher time frame.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we do have the 161, which we snapped from, and the
Yeah.
next target is going to be very close to 200, so 197.24.
Okay.
197.24, I'm sorry. So
Mhm.
that's very close. So I would say, so the way I use them is once they get around this area, institutions are going to start scaling out way before that.
Mhm.
Sometimes they're running it right into, and sometimes they like to scale way before that. And the next extension, this is like super crazy, it's into the 235.
Mhm. Yeah,
Super
because
crazy.
at 197, a guy owned the stock who wanted to get out, he could replace that with a call option and have a lot less cash risk. Or if he
That's
wanted to stay with the stock and he thought it would pull back, he could sell calls into that area. And so there's option tactics you can do as well with regards to if you have targets. You know what I mean? And
Definitely.
when you get into this all-time high stuff, I mean, people are just grabbing from straws, but at least here you've got a mathematical straw you're grabbing at, right?
Absolutely.
So that makes sense. All right.
Yeah.
Well, the sister of gold is silver. So let's see how Sissy's doing here. That went up crazy today too.
All right, silver crazy. Do you mind if I put future silver right here just for a
Sure.
sec?
That better. Yeah.
Okay. Now take a look at this. Take a look at this. And by the way, we do have, okay, so we have just reached the 2011 resistance right here.
Okay.
It is crazy. Look at the percentage gain today, 7.10%.
Yep.
This is just crazy. Gold only 2.42%, and
Yeah.
silver crazy massive move right now.
Yeah, as soon as it broke 19, it was the green light, and obviously everyone just plowed in there. And then that gold to silver ratio being 100 to 1, the silver has definitely been a bigger percentage performer, that's for sure.
Exactly. So this is the monthly chart. So it has been so choppy. I mean, take a look at this chart, just literally grinding, going into this 200 simple moving average, the daddy of all moving averages, just coiling around it just a little bit up, rejected by the 50, back into the 200, back into the 20s, and see how the 20s just combed these highs right here under the 200 for quite some time in 2018 and 2019. And finally, when it regained, this is the March black swan drop that we had in the market, pandemic drop. And then all of a sudden, it woke up and over $19. This was a huge blast to the upside. And we did have, it did run into this first resistance spot into $22. We actually talked about it, and we had some trades into it. And $26 into the next resistance. And this resistance right here is deriving from the lows that we had in 2011.
Right.
So this is the first low right here that we had in 2011, and these are the lows that we tested in September, another low that we retested in December, and then we retested the area June of 2012. So this will represent a big resistance area, but the fact that we super strongly closed into this resistance, I'm expecting here to have some kind of a range development.
Right.
I mean, this is full force. It's just heavy buying. And we're getting a bit divergent here, overbought. Now, the last time we were into this area, into the overbought, we came back in. So we can possibly pull back mildly from this 2011 resistance high. But then again, look at it. The next target is going to be $30 and $35. So we still have a lot of room for the upside. So silver right now is playing catch up because for a lot of times silver was a laggard and gold was ramping up. And right now silver is playing catch up.
Yeah, there's some people who are saying that maybe because they've had so many contracts sold in the stocks, and some people may want actual delivery of these metals, maybe there could be some kind of delivery squeeze as well, and that could be something that would give you the extra leg. People might wonder, how would you go to 35 so fast? How would you go to $2,300 gold so fast? Well, one of the ways is that they have to make delivery, and then they have to go into the market to buy it because they don't have the deliverable goods, that kind of thing. Because there is a mania out there to have physical gold now, and so people who own GLD or whatever, or they may want to get it, but certainly they're on their bicycles. It's a very exciting market this time.
Oh yeah. And again, I wanted to add here on SIL. SIL again, very strong. You can see that the shorts are getting out right now. So this was a little bit of profit taking right here, not too much. We still have a strong bubble of air and quite a substantial bubble of air to the 10 EMA at least, not to speak in all the way back into the 35, but we definitely have room for the upside again here. Room for the upside. So I could do some, let's do some fibs here to find out some projections and where we're at. Yeah, we're still in a very strong, possibly pop into the $60.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the money definitely is coming in. The question is it short covering or new buying? And if it sustains itself and get going, it's more buying. Next guy up is going to be your Clorox, I think. Isn't it CLX?
CLX.
So these guys have made a fortune on the wash your hands every 5 minutes deal. So wipe down everything, they're loving all that talk, right?
Oh, of course. Who doesn't want Clorox? So I'm on the Costco website every other day looking for Clorox wipes. I am telling you, so Clorox is on high demand. It is a very wild stock, so it's not for the faint of heart because it's definitely very, very wild. It is great for you, Jim, because you do a lot of options, but if you want to own it, okay, it definitely requires a little bit more cash. But definitely super uptrending, super uptrending with a brand new high today and a very strong close. I mean, what else, is new because we are having super strong closing prices and bonds, like you mentioned earlier, and metals and everything that you're looking at. Everything is extremely bullish, which is indicative for a potential continuation higher. So I would like to go a little bit far out to the monthly. So from when this whole leg started to the upside to see some possible projections and to see when this monster trend may be setting for some kind of a pullback. So we're running into very long-term extensions right here, which could be into the 245, and probably then we could see some sort of a pullback, but we have not seen a slowdown into any of these projections. So any of these projections, were very solid starting points for the next leg up. It's just insane how it's moving. And even on the daily chart, it seems that any pullback to the 20 SMA is a buying opportunity. So if you don't want to miss, your next ride, I would suggest, look to see if you are getting a pullback into this 20 SMA because it's getting quite distance from the 50 right here. And if you see any kind of rotation at this point, just get in with a very tight stop because the chances are it's going to break a little bit below this 20 SMA. Just get out because most likely it would require another pullback. So look for the 50 SMA, look for another prior resistance zone that will create some kind of confluence area for you if it lines up with another moving average or whatever we have into that area, because that would be a good rotation point for the price to get back up. But I just want to put out the hourly chart because I was watching it here. So take a look at what happened into this extended session right here. So this was the close, right? And then we started at 4 o'clock in the morning and we boomed into the 245. I mean, we went into the 245 and look at this target. This was incredible into the 245.50. And this is in the extension. Look, this is the 423.6 when went exactly into the fib. So institutions knew something and took some profits here. But then again, look how it regained the 200 SMA. So this is a very good stock to even start trading it on smaller time frames, you know, smaller swing time frames, 1 hour, 2 hour for short-term swings. Because now everything is so extended, you don't know if, even if we get a pullback buy on the daily, you don't know if that is really going to be, you know, the end of the move, where, you know, we're going to get sucked in before they actually take the massive profit. So definitely I would risk, like in this type of market environment, I would definitely risk half of my position with anything that I'm doing.
Right. Hey, how about we throw TLT up there? Because again, it looks like the Fed doesn't care about the value of the dollar. They don't care about gold going through the roof. They don't care about, they try to do they're trying to get asset inflation going, obviously. But is there a point in time where this stuff has run pretty darn far?
Yes, and here's the thing, you know, I had a trade in TLT and I got it at 165.45. This is this is my entry. But I bailed at 170 because I trailed it tight. And when I saw a little bit of red here, I'm like, this is just crazy. It's just had a monster run as well. It does have room for higher, but yeah, definitely. This is the 179.7 high that we had from the market drop and the bond pop into March. But it definitely looks higher. And now I really feel sorry for selling it because I should have kept just a very small position with the stop and break even, because, hey, that wouldn't have affected, you know, anything in any way my account. But definitely it looks like if it wants to get over 172, it's going to start like exploding to the 180s, to the 179 and 180. So it has a super strong pattern for a continuation higher.
Yeah. That's something to monitor, though. And if the winds of change were to blow, it would be lovely to do some selling when this thing hits its apex, because, you know, we're at almost zero interest on everything. So unless we're going negative, you know, the other side of the coin, because, you know, asset inflation is certainly working, and people are buying cars and they're buying houses because the rates are cheap. So they're getting everything going. But then at some point they say we got to moderate it. And when they say that, obviously this thing from wherever it is could be a good sell.
I think I saw an article today, UK going negative on rates. So I got to look into that.
Yeah.
That is going to be a very interesting piece for us and for the market to digest, if that's going to happen, especially for the currency market.
Right, because the euro, I really loved it 110, but I don't love it at 119. And so anyway, if they're going negative, that could be the juice that keeps, because it recently went to like 119, and it's at 117 and change. So obviously, if they get stuff like we're going to go negative on rates, you know, that could maybe tilt the wheel a little bit. We'll have to see on that. Yeah, there's your euro.
Is the euro right here. Yeah.
Yeah. So if it started trading under that 130, because right now it looks like it's trying to get back on the bicycle.
Yes, totally right on. And this is resistance right here into 125. It's still trying to, and this is the monthly chart. So we just closed the month of July just Friday. And think about if it's taking out this high of 191 of 1.19, sorry. Okay, we're gonna start flying higher to 125.
No doubt.
No doubt, exactly.
Yeah. The key is if you go the other way and take out 117 or 116 underneath, which would be here at about 110 or something like that, then all those lines start rolling over a bit. But that's not happening right now.
Totally.
Yeah. Hey, let's jump on to Target.
Okay.
TGT.
Oh, Target. Yeah, Target is one of those retailers that is just going to keep on giving. So if this is something that you must have in your portfolio. If you don't have Costco, and by the way, Costco today, we have a position in Costco, massive move to the upside. So Costco, Target, Walmart still time to get in, by the way. So these are the big retailers that are never going to, remember, these are the essentials, right? So this is essential business, Target, Kroger, Costco, Walmart. These are going to be the stocks that are going to rip into the third quarter, into the fourth quarter. These are, like I said, these are essentials, and they're just going to keep on ripping to the upside. So from the daily perspective, again, very elevated. We did have a range. Let me just zoom in a little bit here. So we did have the range. We did have some highs here into last year in December. And we broke about these, we broke the highs today, and we're just smashing new 130 level, and we're just pushing higher. So just to have an idea how high we can go, let's just take a quick look. And all right, let's just take a look and see. Oops, sorry about that. All right, so let's take a quick look. Well, first off, we're going to look for targets into 133. So possibly any pullback can be buyable into target. And I'm looking for buying opportunities in any of these stocks. Now we're a little bit extended. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 up. Just wait for that fifth candle to the upside, and then we could possibly have a pullback. It's still not into the pullback phase because we closed very strong, very, very strong. And don't forget about the tip that I provided earlier about these high flying stocks. Go to a smaller time frames if you still want to have a little bit of a leg in, or take very small amount of shares and start legging in and building that position. And if it goes against you, look at the support levels and make sure that you have plenty of room to add for your trades, but get your first foot in, because sometimes it's better to have a small piece of the pie than to have the whole pie, because you don't know if they're going to show you the pie, you're going to get in with full position, and then they're going to pull the rug under your feet. So definitely this is what I would do here. But again, it's into motion right now. This is the daily close, and we closed into the highs. Most definitely tomorrow we're going to start punching higher, and the price is going to try to elevate into the 133, and this is the target zone. And again, for throughout this year, we do have two massive targets into the 145 and 164.
Hey, this next one is definitely a virus stock, and it's double. You know, it's 100% above its 200-day moving average, and obviously they have a good subscription business and stuff, and it's a great business. They're doing great, but at some point, have they gotten way ahead of themselves? And this is a PTON, Peloton. I'm wondering if there's any opportunity to see if this thing might correct. Today was down about 3.5% or so, but
Yeah,
is it just a
very
tiny? Is it just a tiny pullback? It's not really telling us too much.
This is a huge bull flag formation right here into the 20 SMA.
Okay.
It just broke out. Any pullback, I would say any pullback to the 10 EMA, this would be a huge buying opportunity. I think it's still good. There are still a lot of gyms out there that are closed.
That's true.
And people want to exercise, and they're seeing this as, their very best option. But take a look at this. This is the monthly chart. So for 1, 2, 3, 4 consecutive months, we have just issued a continuation here for the 5th month in a row in which the stock is up. So definitely very extended on the monthly. The weekly chart, very bull sandwich, super bull sandwich right here. The price just exploded higher. Any pullback into, we're talking about a $10 pullback. This is just insane. But
Right.
Any pullback would be viable in this stock. So if you're not in, just watch for pullbacks. This was a very nice, like I said, bull flag right here that was forming and exploded higher on Monday. And right now, just a mild pullback, and it closed a little bit. So I just take a look and see if tomorrow is going to trade below 69, or pre-market, it's going to start trading below 69. And if it's going to start pushing lower, just watch it into the 67 or 65, or even into the 60 area, as this area may develop a great pattern for a rotation and higher in Piton, but definitely extremely extended. And in fact, the buy was right here. The buy was in March. We have the really nice doji. We have the rotation for higher, and this is the trend was happening right on the 10 EMA. So once we have this monthly, and this is longer term trading, so once we have the monthly close above the 10 EMA, this was a very strong sign that we're going to start pushing higher. And also we took out the highs from, basically they were all-time highs into April. So we took off these highs. We're off to the races. It's just an insane stock. Yeah. I don't own a Peloton. Okay, I don't own a Peloton, but This is a really great stock.
Yeah.
Great. And
But
it
as
trades
far as
nice.
the stuff you look at, Anka, you're not that interested in ones that have already made their big moves. You're looking at more, in other words, Peloton would have been much more interesting at 60 or 63 as it was getting going, as opposed to getting it after it's already made a substantial move.
Definitely. So to me, these are very extended. So when I look for stocks, I look for something that, if it's super extended, I like to zoom into smaller time frames. But if
Right.
they are incredibly extended, I just skip them altogether and try to
Yeah.
scan for stocks that have been, on hold. So
Yeah.
one of the stocks that fit that criteria for me was Boeing. And Boeing was a buying opportunity, and we called it yesterday as a little squeeze into this 10 EMA. So we called it right here into the 163. In fact, the exact number was 163.40. And we took it with a first target into 167, which hit today. And we
Yeah, it did.
have a further development into the 170 and into the
Mhm.
172 and 175. So we'll see how this is going to start building up. But it's nicely, only 2 days. Let's see how we trade the rest of the week. But we have a really nice hold on the 20 SMA right here. And we have these prior highs that are creating support in Boeing. So I think that this may be getting ready for, let's see, fingers crossed, very technical term, by the way. And then let's see how we're going to trade and how we're going to close into Friday. The close to me is much more important. So Boeing was one of those ideas. Another idea that that I actually had for this week was McDonald's, and there was another one, MCD, but I'm going to show McDonald's first because McDonald's, it reported earnings and then, it kind of pulled back. So let's go back here to the daily because this was a setup that was, formed onto the daily. I mean, it's McDonald's, okay? So this is an essential, by the way. So we had a very nice pullback. I love these dojis that are forming, and especially in a super duper area of confluence. We have this really nice knot. We have the 20 SMA cross with the 200 SMA just above the 200, a doji decision point. So this is us getting in, and we got in at 194.20. So if you think that there's no stocks out there that you can trade, that's not true, because there are a plethora of stocks that are getting ready for these formations. So this is looking very good for the upside. Super strong close today, close to almost close to $200 close, and it does have room for higher. And these are smaller term swing trades. It's very hard to find a trade right now that is massively declined and has a great opportunity, like one of these essential stocks from these, from these essential companies that can really start rallying. But you could get some really great opportunities in some of these stocks. Another example is Walmart. Excuse me. So Walmart was another great opportunity, and we added because we were in a little bit sooner, and we were in with a quarter of the size. We waited for the stock to rotate, and we added into the 130, and now we're into the break-even territory in our stock. So this is what I mean. Just leg in a little bit, let it pull back, and as soon as you have the technical pattern for it, you can add the rest of the shares, or you can add just a bit more shares than what you initially have, and then you can work the trade out. And then again, very strong close today, indication that we may have again tomorrow a nice continuation. The overnight, what am I talking about? Okay, on the close, I don't know what happened here because we just pushed into the 128, but these things happen pre-market and post-market and all the time. So it's just going to be very important to see how we open tomorrow. So definitely for me, this close matters. We're just going to have to wait and see. So there are a plethora of trading opportunities that are lining up. Also, another one was Netflix. And then we could go back on track with our list and FLX. Okay.
No, we wanted to hear
Here's
some of these
another
ideas.
trading opportunity again, and this trading opportunity came from the weekly. We had a pullback to the 10 EMA, and all I have to do is wait Okay, all we have to do is wait and then revisit it, and scan in the evening when the market is closed. That's the best time to scan. Never scan when the market is still active, because you need that important piece of information of like where the stock opened and where the stock closed and what is the formation that left behind. And shortly here, we had a very nice pullback to the 10 EMA. And then we had this really gorgeous inside candle, which left some really cute parameters for us and tight parameters for us to trade. So obviously we were buyers at 497.25 when we're moving higher. So yeah. Another example for this week was AMD. We had a massive trade into last week in AMD. And today we had this week, not today, we had a very nice move. And our entry was here on Monday. And it was also a call that we made on Sunday night, over $78, $78.50 or so. And we had a very tight stop, by the way, very, very tight stop, and a ginormous move for the risk applied. So we made plethora of R's into AMD. All right, so I'm ready. And these are some of the ideas that you can look for in your trading. Be very flexible, and just look for the pattern, where the pattern is forming, because as a swing trader, you have that liberty to move back and forth in time frames. You can take shorter term swings, longer term swings, or core trades. So yeah, that was my 2 cents on how I find these opportunities.
5G is coming, and there was a couple of companies mentioned by Attorney Barr on TV when he was being interviewed by Maria Bartiromo, and he mentioned Nokia and Ericsson as having some kind of technology that could be in competition with Huawei. And I noticed their stocks, and I noticed this a month or two ago, so it's been good for me. Nokia, NOK, and ERIC. And does it look like there could be more to come?
I think there is. Definitely, I've been looking here at all the time frames, and I haven't scanned for this stock, and this stock has not popped on my scanner lately. And I'm glad you brought it up, because it does have a good opportunity for a move higher. I love these small price stocks, because you can load up in them because they have tighter stocks and they're not as fleecy as an Apple or a Google or an Amazon or a Netflix, and they can represent really good trading opportunities. But from the daily perspective, so let's do a top down here. So the monthly chart right into resistance. Okay. So yeah, this is going to be a decision point. Let's see how, if we consolidate strongly on a smaller time frame, then we could definitely see that we can have a continuation tomorrow, because that would dissolve this resistance and be ready for pop to the upside, maybe into the $556 and $650. So that would be a really nice move to the upside. But take a look. This stock has been on decline since 2014. So it's just moving down the ladder with lower lows and lower highs. The spike down common with any stocks in March created that new low at 2. What a great bargain. I didn't look at this. I didn't look at this stock. I didn't look at Sprint, and these were Sirius Satellite. These are usually my go-to, but I was so busy scanning for these essential stocks and COVID stocks, as everybody's calling them, that I totally forgot about this. But definitely has a really nice inside juicy candle that you could have acted upon, and 371 for a move to the upside. I would wait for a decision here. Let's check it out. Check out the weekly. Yeah, weekly strong into resistance, into the 200 SMA. Daily, well, a little bit extended here, but it does have a little bit of air all the way into the support. Watch for a pullback. If it pulls back to 474, I may look for a pop. And I may look for a continuation higher into it for a rotation at that point. 450 to 475, that would be a good area for a pullback.
Well, let's talk about Apple, because I think everyone's either aware of it or own it, and everyone's been loading up because of this August 24th 4-to-1 split that's coming up, and there's a little bit of indiscriminate buying going on. And we went to 443 today, which is $43 higher than it was when they made the announcement. So is this thing going to 500 before August 24th, or is this thing a little bit overdone?
Apple has a mind of its own. Apple is just crazy the way it trades, but definitely it looks for a projection into the 500 nonetheless.
Right.
Nonetheless.
Yeah. because that's the direction. And people are going to figure if I pay 500, I'm really going to get it for 125 when they do the split, even though they don't understand it's just taking the same pie and different cutting, you know.
Exactly. Exactly.
But you know, clearly, like I say, the money's flowing in, and there is a date of August 24th on people's mind. You don't know how much that'll keep people going. What about Workday? WDAY?
W day, yeah. All right, Workday. Well, Workday, I'm going to go a little bit far out into the monthly. It's going to be pretty straightforward type of trade. If it's going to close and if it's going to trade below this 274, I think it's going to go back down. But as long as it's going to hold, so this would be the risk into the 275. I'm picking that up from the monthly, and then from the weekly, this is actually pretty strong looking, and it's actually looking that it's still going to, it has a lot of time for trigger. So the trigger for me would be 184.75 above this weekly high, and it could actually go back up into the 200 zone, 197 to 200 area. So yeah, I would look for this weekly buy right here. So over this candle high into this area, 185, this would be it. This would be the trigger. Not now, but if it trades over this high this week.
Hey, this next one, Autodesk, ADSK, it had a big move up from 135 up to 240, but it's really been going nowhere between 225 and 245 here for months. And
Yeah.
so basically it still looks like it's trying to hold on to its water, but I think a break under 225 would change all that if it happened. Yeah.
This is
Although
the
this looks
decision
pretty
zone
good.
right here. Yeah, this is the decision zone right here. It closed a month into a monthly, so it punched into a continuation pattern. It made it 251.39, and then it came back. Came back down and retested at 226, created a new low, and then it closed a little bit higher. So we still have a little body right here, and right now we're trading inside this monthly. So again, it's not providing us with a lot of information about the directional bias. Definitely higher. It is a super strong stock. I would say that as long as it's not violating 226 should be our gauge. If it trades below 226, it's going to start pulling back probably to 200. So it's going to have a $25 move to the downside. But as long as it's holding these highs, anything over 247 to 250, it's going to go higher. It's definitely going to start moving higher into this area.
Sure. PayPal?
PayPal. Wow. PayPal and Square, two very strong names. I just want to bring PayPal, hold on just 1 second. Just want to bring PayPal here onto the monthly chart so you guys can see it. 1, 2, 3, 4 massive, massive bars to the upside. When was the last time you saw these massive candles into this chart? Like literally, let me just give it a little bit more time here. Like I have not seen this. Okay, let's go max available right here. Okay, so here it is coming out, and so far just trying to push higher. Never in PayPal existence have we seen a tear to the upside like we have witnessed in the last 4 months. And we have just punched a new high into the $200. And we just made a new high for the month of August. This is insane. Look at the size of these candles. I've never seen anything like this in PayPal. The weekly chart, incredibly strong. Last week, we had this inside candle. So remember, we just discussed that Autodesk had the same pattern. You see it right here. So we had this doji-like candle, and once it rips over the high in this mini context of a consolidation here, it literally ripped to the upside. So extremely extended from support, from any kind of support, from 164 and also from this 10 EMA. Lots of air right here, can possibly create some massive wicks to the downsides. Just imagine, and think about those 4 massive candles that we had on the monthly chart. So those can definitely generate a lot of gyration in price. And as far as the daily goes, you know, we finally had the pullback, a little bit higher, a little bit of pullback, and finally we had the breakout that happened over 184. The price punching into the new highs, 199.04, and with a doji close right here. So again, I mean, if you could see where we close, we basically have been revisiting this area for the last 4 days. So we are coiling around this 197 area for the last 4 days. It definitely can signal for higher. I would look for smaller time frames if you want to, if you're interested in trying to get your feet wet with this stock. I would use the 50 SMA in this case because it's trying to regain the 50 SMA. And tomorrow, if it breaks over this high 199.40, this could be your entry signal with the stop at 195. And look for a target anywhere into the 201, 205. These are going to represent the targets for your mini swing.
One last thing before we get into it, because we are going to tomorrow be having the meeting with Fibonacci and the Elliott wave and stuff. Could we put up the S&P and the NASDAQ index, because they're both kind of into unknown territory, and maybe put those Fibonacci projections up, and people could get an idea of if the market can keep going, what potential target could be up ahead.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So the SPYs have been a little bit of a laggard, but now they're picking up, and NASDAQ is very, very, very strong. In fact, it was the leader and is still the leader today, punching in with new highs on the day. But let's take a quick look at where we are into the Fib world from this high. Oh, whoops, sorry, wrong pin. Okay, here we go again. All right, so okay, what's going on? Okay, this is close enough. All right, so obviously, you know, when we punch in, and if we're going to punch in over this 33.85, you can see that it has a beautiful continuation higher. So yesterday, it was very interesting that, you know, I heard a lot of rumors. Everybody was saying, you know, like, oh, this is the turning point, you know, in the SPX. This was it. They were all looking at 32.20, and I was like, no, this is like so bullish to me. And I did mention it in my trading room that we're going to go to 3,300, and here we are right now. You know, 2 days later, yesterday and today, I said it's going to go to 3,300, and we have that level pinned into and I'm going to show you where that pin is. But definitely it has room for 33.85 and back into this high right here, 33.90. And then if we escape that 3,400, we have a smooth ride to the upside. So yeah, so I just want to show you very briefly my conviction from the mini S&P. This is the futures contract, and here we go. Let me just go to the daily right here, and these are our levels, our trading I'm sorry, I meant to say the hourly. Okay, so these were our levels for the trading session, so you can see them right here. We were bullish above. We continue to be very bullish above with high velocity. Anything above 32.84 is going to gain velocity all the way into resistance. And if we erase this resistance, we have room to project higher into the 33.37. And this is the SPX, the S&P futures. All right, and NASDAQ, I'm going to punch in, I'm going to start with the futures. Oops, NQ, not ND. All right, and this is the futures contract. And all right, and these were our levels. We were bullish above today, above this 4 hour. We had a 4-hour rotation in the overnight trading session. This was it, and we had a little cluster of resistance. So this was the 4-hour breakout area, and we finally made it into the first level of resistance, which was the 11,060. You can see that we had some highs in the overnight trading session, and we have achieved the highs. And not only that, but we punched in 11,094, which, by the way, guys, it's a new all-time high. Ding, ding, ding for NASDAQ. So again, we cannot, you know, think short in other stocks as long as these major indices are just going like full blast on. And Jim, do you want me to put the comp on so we could have like a
get the entire stock market? Yeah.
Okay, yeah, exactly. All right. So as far as we're going into the next phase into the market, you can see that we do have room. We have just escaped over this 127.2. And what happened into this space is that look at the relevance of price. The price riding the 10 EMA is so evident right now. And it is really turning around off of these levels. Once we broke 127.2 zone, we're punching higher. We're on our way to 11,800 into NASDAQ. But obviously, these are longer term. These are weekly. This is a weekly chart. So obviously you're going to see some pullbacks if you're looking at smaller time frames. And this is just this higher time frame swing projection for NASDAQ as we go into this third quarter and as we're getting ready to enter into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and the projections are good because it gives you some idea where the direction might be. And then also when it gets to that level, you do more analysis to see if once it breaks, then you go to the next bar. So it's a way of following up the market, but also having an idea where it could go mathematically.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, tomorrow's going to be a big day. We've got a lot of speakers lined up to go over this stuff. And I think people are going to take away a lot of good information. I'm going to swing it over to David Kosmeter, and he's going to give us a little bit more of a rundown on what's in store for tomorrow. And I'll be on there as well as Anka. So we'll see everybody there tomorrow. And here's David.
Yeah, we got a great lineup for tomorrow. So we have a full day of 12 presentations all about Fibonacci and Elliott wave. So we're going to start at 10 a.m. Eastern time with Sid Norris, and we also have and then Jody Samuels, Todd Horowitz, Marcus Gable, Aldo. Not actually sure how to pronounce his last name, but Aldo Lagruda, Kyle Kinney, Michael Filiguera, Juan, I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name either.
Juan Maldonado, I think.
Maldonado, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to make sure to learn those for tomorrow. But Tony Hansen, Sean Kozak, and the Option Professor, and Anka. So, Anka, do you have anything else you want to add about that?
We are very excited for tomorrow, guys. Very, very excited. You could see how important, all the indicators that we're using on our charts, and these are simple indicators. They're not very sophisticated, and they're not artificial indicators that are just created right now, by different firms and just apply to your charts, to provide you, okay, the green light, red light, this is in, this is out. No, this is old school that we're going to host tomorrow. These are traders these are professional traders. We know these traders. They're really, really great and amazing in their work. And I just want to highlight Jody. Jody is a former institutional trader. You can see her right here. She's going to start speaking from 11. And she has been trading, I think, for JP Morgan Chase, and has been using Elliott waves for Elliott waves for such a long time. I will also present, and I will show you exactly how I use my work, how I include Fibonacci and Elliott waves into my trading. And especially Elliott waves gave you the right indication to get in long at the bottom, and how it helped me and how it helped my traders, and how it helped everybody in here that is going to present tomorrow for nailing the bottom into the market in March. So it's going to bring you a lot of confidence in your trading, into the directional bias, into the precision of your patterns, into everything, into trailing, into setting up your targets. It's going to be a tremendous amount of information that will be released tomorrow. And it's going to be 12 hours, guys, 12 hours. It's going to be an incredible lineup of traders. Jim as well is going to be here, and I'm really looking forward to it. So whether you're a Forex trader, a futures trader, a stock trader, even a cryptocurrency trader or a Forex trader, that you cannot miss this amazing event, 12 hours jam-packed with trading education.
Yeah, and to get access, you can watch your email if you're registered, or you can just, of course, always just go to TimingResearch.com/live and to get access to the live event there. I also there's a preview page that I have set up. I posted that into the chat, and you can find that on the website as well. With this full schedule, also I released a few PDFs about with articles from some of the presenters that you can check out as a sort of preview for the event as well. So
yeah,
yeah,
it's definitely
should be
been
an exciting day.
Mhm.
So.
Absolutely. A lot of information, and again, a lot of different ways to approach the market as well, and a lot of different markets they'll be going over. So you got a wide variety on your menu. Very worthwhile.
All right. So yeah, so Anka, do you want to do just remind the audience about what your site and what you do?
Okay, sure. If you guys head on to tradeoutloud.com, you can find out all the information that you could find out all the information about the services and education that we provide. I day trade futures, and I do run a trading room every day, Monday through Friday from 9 o'clock until 12 o'clock. I literally trade 2 hours and done. And we have a transparent track record. We had a phenomenal year so far, and we're looking forward to the rest of the year. I also run a swing trading program. I love trading stocks. We also have, we have been running this service since 2010. So it's our 10-year anniversary this year. We have transparent track record since then. The trading room, the futures trading room was created in 2017. We have been teaching traders how to trade the futures market since 2015 in fall. So we do have a lot of experience trading these instruments. We do provide trading education for both futures and for swing trading stocks. You can find all the information on our website. And if you have any other further questions, you can email me at info@tradeoutloud.com, or there is a contact box right there that you could drop your question. We will answer any trading related question or any service related question that you have. You could also find me on our Twitter feed, which we do post a lot of information, in the ongoing day, and that is because it's real time. And you can find a lot of information, there about the events that I organize, some of the lists, for instance, our watch list and a full detail of what we were watching on Sunday. I had a video on that. You could go on our Twitter feed. It's twitter.com/tradeoutloud. You can listen in to all the trades that we actually initiated for this week. So it's very interesting to see how they worked out. They all worked. Okay. One single stock that did not trigger was Facebook, in which we canceled. But other than that, we are full right on 100% of the stocks trigger and are working for us. All right. So Jim, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I just wanted to say that I have a free weekly update that I give out to people. So you just go to optionprofessor.com, put your email in, and then you get free market updates. To give you an idea, back in March and April, we were directing people into the semiconductors, into tech, and also mega growth. That was obviously a great idea. Then we followed that up with doing a little bit of value, because value was also sold out down there in the month of April and May. And then we rotated into the metals in May and June and July. And of course, the rest is history. We made it very clear that once silver got above 19, it could spike up, and it certainly did that. We also said when the price of coffee gets above 105, it could spike up, and it's at 120. So we try to get you into some things before they happen, which is kind of nice. And so there are some winds of change that we believe could be happening fairly soon. I call it the unwind trade, and that's where you have things that have been very, very, very good, and then they unwind a bit, and the money rotates into things that are just beginning to look good. And I'll be covering that each and every week. It doesn't matter, stocks, bonds, interest rates, the US dollar, international. International is starting to make a move, but it hasn't really kicked in enough to say that it's going to accelerate. But my eyes are on the international picture because the dollar's in the tank, right? And then, of course, we've got the metals that we keep an eye on, and other things as well. So optionprofessor.com, you put your email in, and then my decades of experience comes to you once a week.
That's awesome. And by the way, guys, just a quick thing about Jim. We have been doing this show with David for quite some time, and Jim was highlighting and he was talking about gold before, like months before it started to move. So he gave us actually a heads up on the gold move that started to move into last year. So Thanks for that, Jim.
You bet. And we'll see
All
you guys
right.
tomorrow.
All right. Yeah. Great show today. And so just a quick reminder to everyone, be sure to subscribe to YouTube. Subscribe to Timing Research on YouTube and your favorite podcast directory or network, and you'll get all the archive updates as soon as I get them posted there as well. And that includes for the big events like tomorrow, I record each of the presentations separately, and I have 2 computers set up here, and I am processing the recording, while we're doing the event. So I actually start getting the first ones posted before the event is even over. So you can, if you miss a presentation or want to watch it again, all those are there for you on Timing Research or on the YouTube account. So, like I said, be sure to join us live if you can tomorrow at TimingResearch.com/live, or come back later tomorrow night to Timing Research, and you can see the archives there. So, and just want to thank my guests again for today, Anka Metcalf of TradeOutLoud.com and the Option Professor of OptionProfessor.com. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
So
We'll see
much,
you tomorrow.
David, for the invite. Happy trading, everyone.
Thanks.